And Joey, congratulations on last week's win. Talk about now your mindset coming into Charlotte, and you got Talladega, of course, next week. But talk about your mindset as you prepare for this race weekend, knowing in the back of your mind, hey, I'm already in that next round.
Yeah, it's nice to know you're in because I think everyone was very nervous about this round, knowing that it's not the round that's going to win the championship, but it's definitely a round that can keep you from winning it. When you think of Kansas and Talladega both being in this round, and Charlotte was your one somewhat normal racetrack that you go to that you feel like you can really make a difference. And Kansas, we had a very fast Shell Pennzoil Ford that was able to once we figured out the top lane, was able to go really fast and get that win. So that's nice. And our mindset now is basically the same thing as what we had. Let's keep going these racetracks, keep attacking, keep that momentum going. I feel like we can have a good showing here again at Charlotte. And then, we don't have to worry about Talladega as much anymore. So that's nice. And, when we get to that next round, we'll try to win Martinsville and hopefully be in the same shoes again. But, for now, our mindset, like I said, is to go out there and win just like we've been doing.
Thank you, Joey. Our first three questions will come from Jenna, then Mike Embry, and then Tom Jensen.
Jennifer, AP. Joey, I know that next week is a place where you really can help teammates if needed, but is there any emphasis or discussion or concern about making sure that Brad has a good run on Saturday night?
We're going to do what we normally do. We normally go out there and try to help each other, right? That's our goal. It's a two-car team. We got to work very tight together to make sure both our cars are fast. And I feel like that's something we applied to Team Penske a long time ago. I feel like it's the main reason why I'm here today working with Brad is because we work together. And I think that's something very important to have. And if you're already doing it, it's hard to do it more, right? So we'll pretty much do the same things we've been doing, working together throughout practice here, throughout qualifying and sharing our notes, talking about our race cars as much as we can, and then race each other as smart as we know how to at the on the racetrack. And Talladega is a whole separate deal there, right? That's a different way of working with each other to get to the front. But when you come to a place like Charlotte, there's only so much you can do on the racetrack to help your teammate. And don't get me wrong, my goal is still to win. I might be greedy, but I want to win.
Next three questions will come from Mike, Tom, and then Viv. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Joey, obviously you've been on a roll the last couple of months. What's harder, reaching that point or sustaining that?
I can't say I've ever been here before, so I'll let you know. This has been a dream season so far, and when you get into the chase, you expect it to get harder, and you work harder, and you try to find more. And when you think you're at 100%, there's always that extra little bit in there you have to dig down deep to find. And I feel like my whole team's done that, and I think that's why you've seen the finishes that we've had throughout the first 4 races so far, with a fourth, a first, a fourth, and a first. That's if we keep doing that throughout the rest of the season, we'll be pretty happy with it. But I think we haven't had a ton of speed at every single racetrack we've gone to. Look at Dover, we were okay. We got the top 4. You look at even Loudon, we won the race, but we were 16th there with a few to go, and we had tires and able to get our way up there. So I feel like our big deal right now is the way we execute our races, and I think that's been our strong point. We've had fast race cars, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I think the way we execute the race and make sure we're there at the end has been our strong suit so far, and we just got to keep doing that. We have to keep digging down deep when when kind of the odds are against us, and try to make the most of it.
Next three, Tom, Viv, and then Lewis.
Hi, Joey. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Obviously, some of the people who were favorites to win the championship are in a deep points hole now. Do you look at the standings look at that and see that it increases your chances of winning the championship?
It does. I've been saying this whole chase so far that everyone's in it right now is a contender for a reason. Everyone is someone you have to really think about as someone that can really win this championship. But obviously, you look at the guys that have been fast throughout the whole year, and you see them kind of in the bottom 3 right now. That's it's pretty surprising. I'm sure they're going to all have good runs this weekend. They're going to rise to the occasion. and what's going to happen there. But like I said, this is probably going to be a round that knocks somebody out that can win this championship, or that had a really good shot at it. And we're fortunate enough that's not going to be us this time. But we can't, as Roger likes to say, you can't trip over your own press clippings, and keep working really hard and stay ahead of it. But if you think of the 48 or one of those guys knocked out, those are, by stats, is your best, your the best guy out there that's going to have the best shot at winning this championship. So if you can knock one of those guys out in this round, that's great. It does help your shot a lot.
Next three will go Viv, Lewis, and Stan. Go ahead, Viv.
Okay, Viv Bernstein, New York Times. I know everybody likes to stay in the moment and race to race, but you're already in the top 8. Do you allow yourself to think about Homestead at all? Have you run that race in your head about 50 times, or do you not think about it at all?
I haven't thought about it at all. I know you say everyone likes to think that way, but that's how I really do think. I am a race-by-race person, and I think just the way this chase goes, you have to think that way, because that's going to change your strategy up on how you race these races also. So, right now we're thinking about Charlotte. We're thinking about our Martinsville test we got coming up this week. I think that's going to be a key point for us. And these next two is just all about keeping the momentum going. Let's keep the ball rolling like we got, keep everybody motivated, keep our team going, and have a good test up here in Martinsville, and then hit those Martinsville and Texas and Phoenix as hard as we can, and get nice solid finishes at the worst, and if we can get a win, then you're in really good shape, because at that point you can't finish worse than 4th. So if you're able to win Martinsville, I think that's a huge advantage going into Homestead, because you have quite a few weeks to be thinking about that race and not so much the other ones. But at this point of the chase, you're still thinking about the upcoming races before Homestead.
Next three will be Lewis, Stan, and Dustin. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yes, Louis Franco Reuters to you right there. When you started in Sprint Cup, a lot of attention on you. There was a lot of expectations. And now you've got 5 wins this year, leading at this point. Do you feel any differently, about distractions, more media requests? How are you handling the spotlight?
I think I'm doing okay. When it's a positive spotlight, it's a lot easier, is what I learned. So that makes life a lot better. I've been okay with it. I'm enjoying it. I think one of the coolest things about winning last week is the fact that we're the point leader now. Like, that's never happened for me. So seeing your truck parked in the first spot and having that first garage stall, and obviously it doesn't mean a whole bunch at this point, but it is something special. It's just kind of cool, because I've never done it before, never got to the points lead, so that just means a lot to me, and I think it does this whole Shell Pennzoil team, and I've been able to handle all the press and all that. When it's positive, it's a lot easier for me.
Okay, the next one's up will be Stan, Dustin, and then Marty.
Stan Creekmore with CompetitionPlus.com. Does the fact that you survived the tire issues last week to take the victory make you even more confident that you have a chance at the checkered flag here this weekend?
Yeah, as far as tires last week, obviously the setup goes into a lot. The driver, also the way they drive the car, goes into that a lot. Not saying we didn't have issues with our tires. Looking back at it, we had some close calls, but they were okay. And I don't think it makes us feel more confident about anything, because, obviously, the more performance you get out of your car, the more at risk you're putting yourself with tires. And performance window's so small, the more you're aggressive with that stuff, the higher the risk is of something to happen. And we all know that. That's all a gamble we all know we're taking, and the risk we know we're taking. And but for that speed, you got to do that. Goodyear gives us the information we need to have to make those decisions, and it's up to us to make the smartest decision after that.
Let's go with Dustin and then Marty.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Joey, since you're just a youngin', a guy like Dale Jr. turns 40 this week. When you think about 30, when you think about 40 for somebody like yourself, what do you think about, since those, especially 40, since I'm guessing that's probably such a far-off universe to you? What do you think about it at 40?
I got a long ways to go. I've said earlier this year, I'm finally starting to see the benefits of starting as young as I did. Obviously, remember sitting right here for my 18th birthday, and it had a cake in the car, and it had my car out front, and that was going to be my first race in Dover the next week, and it was just a whole big deal. And now I'm sitting here at 24. That was a while ago, but I'm just now starting to see the benefits of starting that young, and the fact that I feel like I'm starting to reach my peak. I'm getting closer to where I feel like I need to be to go out there and and only being 24 years old, there's the advantage that I can do this hopefully longer and at my peak than most that started a little later. So that's all working out good for me. It's crazy for me to think that I can possibly have another 20 years to my career, maybe even more. And that's a lot to me. When you're only 24, 20 years sounds like a lot. And, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to that opportunity and to watch the way the NASCAR sport changes, and hopefully I can be a player and help on how we develop this sport. I feel like that's a role that's important to me, and I feel like I want to be able to take on as a younger demographic and trying to pull that type of fan in. I feel like that's a position I should take on as a driver and help our sport grow.
We got time for 3 more questions. Marty, Daniel, and then Brant. Marty, Daniel, then Brant. Go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Hey, Joey. You talked about reaching your peak and getting close there. You've been real fast over the past couple of years, certainly this year. What have you proven?
What have I proven?
Yeah.
Hopefully proven that I should be here. Hopefully that. But to me, that's an interesting question because, you think of proven. That's different to everybody, right? Being proven could be winning a championship. It could be winning multiple races in a season. It could be, getting top 10s. I think it just all depends on who it is. To me, I don't think I'm ever where I want to be. And I think that's just me personally, is that I'm never good enough. And I think that is something that's gotten me to this point as a driver and as a person. Obviously you got to take that within reason, because you can't beat yourself up too hard, because you won't have no confidence to do anything. But you have to also at the same time push yourself and then know that you're not ever perfect. You're never where you need to be, because if you ever feel like you're there, it's only gonna be a couple weeks till someone passes you. So you always got to be looking ahead, and I think that's the attitude that I've had my whole life. And I don't think I'm ever going to be proven to myself exactly where I want to be, but like I said, I'm enjoying this, the fact of being in the point lead for the first time and seeing some of the results of the hard work that you've put in over the last few years to see that part's really nice, but I guess I'm never where I want to be.
We'll go to Daniel, and then final question from Brant. Go ahead, Daniel.
Daniel McFadden with Sporting News. You mentioned you're going to Martinsville for a test. You've got a top 5 there in the spring. What are you hoping to work on specifically at a track where you average about a top 15 finish?
Better than top 15, right? We were able to go up there and have a solid finish. We led some laps there in the spring, and knowing that it's going to be one of the most important races as far as getting us to Homestead and racing for a championship, we need to focus on that. And it's the same thing as you always fight with Martinsville, right? You're obviously trying to brake, turn, and then hook up 850 horsepower off that corner is not an easy thing to do. So that's why we're going to work on it, and make sure we understand what the parts and pieces we have are doing to the car and what it's going to do over a long run. And seeing some things you get there and you can get kind of fooled into certain things. You see some short run speed, and after 50 laps, it's the worst thing you ever put in your car. So I think just understanding what does what, and obviously having speed on both the short run and the long run, and kind of going from there. So it's a tough place for sure, and I think that's why we're going to use a test up there. And we're not where we need to be at that racetrack yet. I see Jimmy walking in here now. He's the man there, So we got to be able to catch him.
Final question, Brant.
Brant James, ESPN.com. The expectation or anticipation of this sort of season has been with you since you were a pretty young teen, just because a lot of drivers thought so much of you. Has it felt like a long time to get to right here, right now?
Yeah, it does. But I've enjoyed the whole role of it. The part that it's taken me so long to get to where I'm at now. But without the experience I've had, I wouldn't be the person I am now. And you know, I love that I've got to go through all that because I can enjoy it even more now. I feel like I'm lucky I got to go through that to understand what it means to be sitting where I'm at right now, and you know, how bad you really want it. And I think it's something I needed personally as a person, and I think you know, as a driver, it's very rewarding. And you know, I make sure I enjoy the moment, but I also make sure I got to, you know, keep doing what I've been doing to get here too.